Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I'm sitting outside my house on this glorious spring day. My yard looks like a park. I'm again struck at the incongruous nature of the beauty of nature itself versus everything else that's going around us. I hope everyone will have a good Sabbath, a good Shabbat, and is healthy. This Monday night marks the beginning of Yom Hashoah Hagevurah, the Holocaust Memorial and Heroism Day. It is called Yom Hashoah, which is the Holocaust Day, Hagevurah, and heroism for those who resisted the Nazis, both Jews and Christian. We remember the 6 million who died. We remember the 1.5 million children among those 6 million that died. And we remember the 500,000 Roma, or what are improperly called gypsies, who were also the targets for genocide. This is a day in which the entire Jewish world says the memorial prayer, the Kaddish, for those who have died, because many of them did not have relatives who survived them in order to do that. I wanted to mention just a couple of things. One is that there was a very well-meaning article in our local newspaper this week comparing what we're going through to Anne Frank. I Googled this and found that this was not the only one. And I have to tell you that there are many reasons why this article, though well-meaning, was misplaced. Number one, the article never mentioned the fact that Anne Frank was Jewish. As a matter of fact, if you go to Wikipedia, you'll see that Anne Frank is described as a German/Dutch diarist of Jewish origin. And she didn't die because she was a German/Dutch diarist. She died because she was a Jew. But the situation is not comparable. Anne Frank lived in 450 square feet. It was very crowded with other people. We are living in a much larger place. We can still go to the grocery. We can make Zoom calls, which of course did not exist then. And unlike Anne Frank, I am able to walk outside, to walk in the neighborhood, to experience the beauty of this glorious spring day. And of course, unlike Anne Frank, there's the virus, although deadly, is not a group of people that, if we're caught, will kill us. In her case, she was taken away to Auschwitz, and then she and her sister died after the death march in 1945 in Bergen-Belsen in Germany. I mention that because most of you might know that usually I go on something called the International March to Living. That will not be taking place this year because of the COVID crisis. It's the first time in 32 years. One of the things that we do on the March of the Living is that we make a plaque, and in which we say, a plaque about this big, in which we say in memory of so-and-so, and we leave it at Auschwitz, usually on the tracks going into the death camp, the section of Birkenau. This year, if you go to the March of the Living website, www.motl.org, you can see that you can make a virtual plaque to say, we remember, we haven't forgotten. By the way, it's a terrible thing to say. We don't have many survivors among us that are still left, and yet those that are under great threat now from this virus. Here in Greensboro and elsewhere on Monday night, there will be a memorial service online, a virtual memorial service online for the 6 million who died, and for those who resisted, and also for the 500,000 Roma. This is called Erev Yom Hashoah. You can access this as a Zoom call by going to www.tegreensboro.org. And the way to connect to the call should be there. In addition, on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, there's going to be an International March of the Living ceremony, which will include testimonies from survivors and address by Reuven Rivlin, the president of the state of Israel. The great Rabbi, the Baal Shem Tov, and the founder of the Hasidic movement, said, forgetfulness leads to exile. Remembrance is the secret of redemption. Here we are, years after the end of the Holocaust, 75 years after the end of the Holocaust, or 85 years actually, after the end of the Holocaust. And we are trying to recall or 85 years after the Holocaust, and we are trying to recall those who died. They have become a part of who we are. Their legacy still remains with us, and the warning of what happened then still is with us now. We know that there's a perilous nature to anti-Semitism, racism, bias, bigotry of any sort, homophobia, whatever. And if one thing or another, this virus has showed us that, like the biblical prophets envisioned, humanity is one. The virus doesn't distinguish between races or religions or creed or anything else, or sexual preference. The virus shows us that we are all one. It is my hope that within a very short time, because I think the whole world is working on this, we will find out some sort of solution, so be it a vaccine or treatments to this virus. It's my hope and prayer that God, who is the creator of all, will help those who need to become creators of this much needed medicine to succeed in their task. May God bless them. May God bless you. May God bless all of us with health as we approach the Sabbath, as we approach the Shabbat. I miss you all very, very much, and I'm looking forward to the time after this when we can recreate our world in a way that is more just, humane, filled with understanding, filled with health, and filled with peace. So to all of you, a wonderful Shabbat Shalom.